Good morning, my lovelies. What it do, what it do, what it do. This is Planet Base. This is Planet Base, the Tree of Life, Genesis 129, aka Virgo Networks, the Animal Planet, aka Daughters of Zion, aka the Maidens and the Virgins, aka that Topaz Gem Sapphire, coming straight from that spiker star, the brightest star of the constellation. Always have a message for you, but it's up to you to discern what I'm trying to say. Remember, I'm just outside looking into your world, seeing things that you just don't see, okay? But dig this here. The name of this is called Stay at Home Mom versus Stay at Home Wife. Is there a difference between the two? There is a clear difference. A wife is defined by her marital status. A stay at home mom is a mother who focuses primarily on raising children and managing the household, meaning not all stay at home moms aren't always married, okay? Stay at home wife primary focus is partner in household support, manages the home, but does not have children to care for because they are child free or their children are grown and out of the house. Partnership is a legal informal arrangement where two or more parties co-own, manage, and operate a business to profit generate profit. Partners contribute resources, okay? Contribute resources to share in a business, okay? So you have a lot of these excuse me. You have a lot of these supposed stay-at-home moms coming online saying that they stay at home wives, okay, when all actuality they really are single moms, okay? That's what it is. But that they are single moms, they're not stay-at-home wife, because a stay-at-home wife, and keep in mind, a stay-at-home mom and a stay-at-home wife is two different things, two different titles, and they have two different duties, okay? It's a lot of duties that come with a stay-at-home wife, okay? A stay-at-home mom just raises her children, okay? A stay-at-home wife, there's investments, businesses, and things of that nature that is involved, okay? Also, she shares her resources with her spouse and they come together, okay? That's what it is with that. A lot of these single moms come online saying that they stay-at-home wives and they just sit at home and not do anything, okay, which is a lie, because again, a stay-at-home wife, the definition we're talking about the definition, not my definition, but when you look up Google and you look up the definition of a stay-at-home wife, it tells you, okay, that they share resources, okay, to generate businesses. They have businesses together and it's a legal formal arrangement. It's a partnership, okay? That's what it is with that. And when you're talking about a legal and formal arrangement, you got lawyers and attorneys and involved and investments and assets that's involved with this, okay? A stay-at-home mom, aka single mom, don't have no investments, don't have no assets, okay? She has nothing, okay? She presents herself as this wife, something other than what she really is, and that is not the case. A lot of these single moms are feeling really guilty, okay? That's why it's a lot of things that's going on with them, a lot of psychological things that's going on with them. They living in regret. They now realize that they made a poor choice to be foolish, okay? That's what it is with that. And they feeling guilty and they coming online portraying themselves to be something other than what they really are in reality, okay? That's what it is with that. Another thing is this, is that back then things were cheap back then. Like back then, if they would have came online 10, 15 years ago and said they was a stay-at-home wife, it would have been, it would have been believable, because back then things were cheap. Okay, things were cheap back then. Okay, back then a studio was like, we talking about 20 years ago, a studio was like $400, $500, $600 back then. Now that same studio is about like $1,200, $1,300 plus all this extra stuff, okay? So there's no way that a supposed stay-at-home wife that ain't got no job, sitting on the internet looking pretty, ain't helping her husband in this bleeding economy while he's out bleeding to death, okay, at a job. And let's just keep in mind that it's only 6% of black men with wealth. Okay, so therefore you leaving your husband to struggle, allegedly, okay, with all these bills, okay, and don't let him have a car or nothing like that, because then you got insurance on the car, gas on the car, maintenance on the car. So he's paying all these bills and you ain't got to pay nothing. That ain't right at all. That's not a partnership. That would mean that she is a single mom. Okay, that's what that is with that. She's a single mom. So, and keep in mind that a stay-at-home mom is just another classy term for single mom, because single mom is looked down upon and frowned upon. And technically speaking, it shouldn't even be no single moms, because the traditional way, okay, if the brother, if something happens to the brother, okay, excuse me, if something happens to the child's father, it is the brother's responsibility to raise up the genealogy, the brother's kids. Okay, that's the traditional way, the biblical and traditional way to do these things. But these females don't know anything about their child's father. Okay, they don't know his family, all right, because the man never brought them around. They don't know anything about their child's father. Okay, so therefore they stuck without nothing. Okay, they have nothing to show for nothing. Okay, and they now realize that they are a fool. Okay, that's what it is. They realize they're a fool. Okay, and they allow themselves to be tricked. So therefore they come on this internet saying that they something other than what they really are, to hide behind reality for who they really are, which is a single mom struggling with 8 kids in poverty. Anywho, I'm about to get on out of here, man. It's that Spica star, the brightest star of the constellation. Isaiah 65:17. The sovereign Lord is going to bring down his kingdom upon a new earth, and me, the maiden and the virgin, I shall dwell there forevermore. You should find it in your heart to try to break your generational poverty and your generational curses. And always remember, if you don't do it, ain't nobody else gonna do it, and nobody really cares about you when it's all said and done. It's all about the individual surviving and overcoming. If you not going to survive and overcome, that ain't nobody else's problem but your own. And always remember, I don't care if you don't believe in my message or not. Okay, I'm here to do a job and serve a greater purpose. If you're not serving your purpose, hey, that ain't got nothing to do with me. That's your guilt and your psychological spiritual warfare going on in your mind, not mine, sweetie. Anywho, he cut the heads of Leviathan and he served it as food. So it's going to be a feast and a regathering, okay? And I can imagine what Leviathan tastes like. Juicy and succulent. He been in the sea for over 400 to 1,000 years, okay? Yes, and he has fins and scales, and he will be served amongst the round table with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You should do everything in your willpower to break your generational curse and break your generational poverty and bring your children up from out of there and bring them to the royal house of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And hopefully we'll see you at the feast. Hopefully. That's all I could do is hope for you. Okay? Even if you ain't got no hope for yourself, I'ma still have a little bit of hope for you. Just a little bit. Okay? Just a little bit. Okay? Also, Exodus 20:5. He punishes the children for the sins of the parents, okay, to the 3rd and 4th generation of those who hate him. Okay, Exodus 20:5. You should do everything in your willpower, if I were you, to save your generations of children. They do not deserve to get thrown down to the valley of Tophet, where the burning blaze never goes out, and the worms and maggots never die, and there's no water to quench their thirst. They do not deserve that. Your children deserve so much greater, all because you don't want to fix yourself up and put the work in. That is not right what you're doing to your children. But hey, man, this is not my kids. These are yours. I'm just letting you know that your children deserve better. They have beautiful souls attached to them. And no matter how you feel about me or even how I feel about you, guess what? Each soul is worth saving. A soul is worth saving because a soul is precious and valuable. They don't deserve that mess. They're going to be reliving. They're going to be reliving all this garbage. All this garbage, okay? They're going to be reliving that, okay? If I were you, I will, listen, man, I'll be in it to win it, to break this generational curse, because guess what? We almost up out of here, and it's going to be a new cycle of life. Life is worth living. I'm going to save myself, and you should save yourself. Anywho, I'm out here, man, looking into your world, see things that you just don't see. A stay-at-home mom is a single mom struggling in poverty. I'm out.